Hello, beautiful community. Just going to wait a couple of minutes to let people join. Yeah, so you could grab yourself a cup of tea, make sure you're comfy. Yeah, and we'll just wait for those who are keen to share to join us. Okay, we are going to get started. So welcome, thanks for joining me. My name is Megan Baker, and you've joined for the self-care webinar through Inner World Village. To find out the 5 steps to truly honour yourself and create an authentic lifestyle. So welcome, beautiful community. It would be great to know where you're joining us from. So if you'd like to share, just put in the chat box. And I will, there is a 2-minute delay in what I'm saying and what you're going to be hearing. So bear with me on that, but I'll keep looking at your, at the chat box. And keep up to date with that and try and get back to you if you've got any questions. But yeah, if you'd like to share where you're joining us from today, that would be great. Yeah, and also if you've got any questions, yeah, putting those in the chat box as well, and we'll see what time we have at the end and whether I can get back to those. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the PowerPoint and share this with you. So yeah, just let me know if you're having trouble seeing that. Okay. So yeah, talking about self-care, this is a big one, a big and extremely important, I feel, topic. So if you are feeling run down, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you are someone that just gives so much to other people and love to help, and everyone and everything else comes before you, then you're in the right place. If you're really looking for ways to support yourself, starting to turn towards yourself and think about what you can do for yourself, not just what you can do for other people, yeah, then this is the right place for you. So I'm going to share now a little bit of my story, yeah, my journey as far as self-care goes. So yeah, starting with, I'm a helper. Yeah, I love to help people. I guess, yeah, even seeing a helper over the years, I've learnt not the real meaning of a helper, but what the centered, grounded meaning of being a helper really is, what really giving help is. And that's part of what self-care is about. Yeah, I guess I've had this need to prove myself, to show that I can do things and show what I can do. Yeah, I guess in the past as well, I've also been in relationships where it was not okay to rest, feeling the need to rest, but that bringing up anxiety in other people, and also got me into trouble. But I guess even prior to that, my family is beautiful. They're all helpers, beautiful, beautiful people that are driven to help people in any way that they can. Which means that most of the time they are going a million miles an hour and always thinking about what they can do for other people, rather than turning around and thinking, okay, what can I do for me to put myself in a really good position to be able to help other people. And I guess I really took that on board. Yeah, like I said, I'm still a helper. I'm still really keen and driven to be of support to people in the ways that I can. Yeah, but it's actually, the difference is now what that helping looks like. The helping starts with helping myself, making sure that I'm in really good condition and really well supported, and then offering support to a point where that's going to be okay for me, so I can keep coming back with that support rather than just totally burning out and disappearing from someone's life. So over the years, due to some health issues, self-care became a have-to. So, yeah, it's kind of talked about that the universe, spirit, God, whatever it is, you kind of receive messages, and they might start as a gentle push, a little nudge, kind of an elbow in the ribs. The push might get a bit harder, and then if you are ignoring what the universe is trying to tell you, then yeah, it's been known to be called the Mack truck will come and hit you. So you can't ignore that. And that's really what happened for me. I mean, I started my self-care journey a number of years ago, and I think one of the moments of really waking up and going, oh, self-care, what self-care is and how important it is, and where I really wasn't living self-care. I actually did a process while I was at college, and I had to write a fairy tale. And so wrote this fairy tale, and it was about a young girl, and she went through life giving away pieces of herself to other people. So she was just handing out pieces of herself, and got to a point where there was none of her left, and so she put up a wall around herself and couldn't go out and be near anybody else. And did this process. It was kind of meditation, and then this came out, and it's like, oh, that's very cute, drew it and everything. That's really interesting. And then I started to realize that was my story. I was giving away all of myself, and there would be times where I would just flip, where I just couldn't be around anyone. I was out there helping and doing everything I can for everybody else, and then just hit empty, and then had to retreat. So it was a big eye opener for me. It didn't mean that I then started looking after myself better and stopped doing that. No, things don't happen that quickly. But I did gradually start to uncover and start to recognize that pattern happening more and more in my life. So like I said, the Mack truck came. I didn't get the lesson straight away when I found out about the little girl, and that being me. So when I wasn't getting it well enough, clearly, the Mack truck came, and I got quite sick, and I had no choice but to rest. I had very little opportunity to move or do anything. That was a real challenge to my sense of self. I wasn't able to help other people because it was just getting through the day, basically. And so that really, I guess that was a moment of, right, I don't want to end up in this place again. And I have had to go through a lot of soul searching, plus a lot of health rebuilding, and I don't want to end up in that place again. So I really need to listen to this message around self-care and take care of myself. And so that was really a massive turning point for me to get serious about self-care. So now it's really interesting. I definitely support myself a lot more and a lot better than I used to. Even today, I've had, the universe works in mysterious ways. I've had a really challenging morning. So, of course, I had this to get ready for. However, I had some other health things, and was really pushed for time. So yeah, it really challenged my self-care this morning, but I'm so committed to it that I was still bringing in that self-care wherever I could. And yeah, I now see reflections of my old way of being in other people. And there's times now when I see that I just feel so grateful that I give myself this gift of self-care. It's just such a relief. It's a weight off. I went through, and there's still times I go through the feelings of guilt and inadequacy when I actually give myself the self-care. And it challenges my enoughness, but I really work on coming back to my truth and what's really important to me. Yeah, and so that's, I guess, a bit of my story of how I've come on my self-care journey so far. Yeah, and yeah. So I'm just going to quickly check to see that things are working for us as far as the chat box goes. Hello. Still learning on this with all the technology, of course. Okay. All right. So, what is self-care and why is it important? So, really, basically, it's putting yourself first, and really putting yourself first, because no one else is going to put you first. No one else can put you first, really. I guess in the past I've kind of always put everybody else first, but ultimately I would hit the wall and they couldn't come first because I had nothing to give. It's about looking after your mind, body and spirit. So the whole of you, really caring for every part of your being on every level, a really holistic way of looking at your life and you and what you need. Self-care is energy giving. It's not energy draining. It's energy giving so that you actually do have the energy to go out there and help people. Self-care is really about balance, finding a balance. Finding the balance for you. Balance is always going to be different for everyone. What's needed for balance, and also balance changes. It can change from day to day. What balance might have looked like yesterday might look completely different to what it looks like today, due to any number of different circumstances that can change in our lives. It's really individual. Yeah, so it's just so important for us to be able to keep going and to be able to actually step up, to be able to keep showing up and shining our light and being out there, bringing our gift, the gift of why we're here on this planet today. And it really is, like, I get that there is a real challenge with self-care. Because there's such a glorification of busy in our culture. People just running, like, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy. And if you're not busy, I had a really relaxing weekend. That can be anxiety creating for you. And also, I know it used to be, I couldn't have a rest during the day. I'd just be thinking, oh my goodness, I have so many things I should be doing. I'm wasting time if I'm resting. And it's like, no, I'm actually giving myself time. Such a precious gift. Time to rest and restore and rejuvenate so I can go out there and give my best when I'm there. So you turned up today because you're ready to support yourself. You have had enough, enough of emptying yourself for other people, and you know things need to change. You know that you deserve more. This way of being that's been your pattern, yeah, it's time to stop that. Like for me, that little girl giving pieces of herself away, it's time to actually, yeah, just start being able to help, not give everything away. Just being able to, like, my cup's overflowing so you can have the overflow. Yeah, really being able to support yourself and put yourself first. So good on you for taking the time to actually nourish your being by focusing and thinking about self-care and how you can really take care and look after yourself. So the first way that you can really be focusing on self-care, like what are the practical things that I can be doing to truly honor myself and create an authentic lifestyle? One thing, prioritize. Thinking about what are musts. For all those mamas out there, does the house really need to be cleaned? What is cleaning the house going to really do for you or do for anybody else if you are completely drained and exhausted? Does the washing up really need to be done, or do you need to rest, or even just take a little bit of you time? Some time to journal, some time to just sit in nature, some time to read a book, something that feeds your soul. Yeah, is it a need to do or is it a should do? I should really do this. Shoulds, we all live so much by shoulds, and shoulds actually don't support us. So it's really about, if it needs to be done, then it's a need. If it's a should, then it's probably a guilt trip that you're playing on yourself, and you can let it go. Can it be put off until later? If I just take this half an hour to just give myself a moment to meditate, to listen to some music or whatever it might be, and then I'll do it later. It doesn't have to be done right now. It's a question of who's making it a priority. Is it you making it a priority, or is somebody else making it a priority? And then do you need to maybe step up and say, actually, this isn't a priority? I know that for me, with various things that have happened in my life, my priorities have been challenged. And yeah, I've come to realize those things that I used to allow to be priorities, they don't really matter. And I start to put what's really important first. And if other people don't like it, then that's kind of their problem. Like if I say, I'm sorry, I can't do that, I say it with respect, absolute respect, and understanding that maybe that's not going to be what they want to hear, but I need to honor myself. So yeah, really questioning what will happen if it's not done now. If I don't clean the house, is that really going to have a massive impact on anyone? If I don't clean it right now, if I did it tomorrow, if I did it in a couple of hours, is that going to be okay? So really, really challenging and questioning yourself. Self-care is so much around self-awareness and self-honesty, and trusting yourself and asking, yeah, what's driving me to make this decision? to do this right now. So prioritize. It's really, really important. The next one, allow yourself time to rest. This can be such a big challenge for so many people. Just giving yourself time for stillness. So it might not be sleep, but just stillness. Earlier this week, I just went and lay down outside just for a little bit, just with nothing going on. Just went and lay outside, and yeah, the energy I had after that to keep going with the rest of the day, it was, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. But it just really restored things. It helped clear my head. It actually re-inspired me, and I had more to give. Rest is valid. It really is understanding that, rest isn't a waste of time. It is actually giving to ourselves, which in turn gives to others. And I think that, that glorification of busy takes away the validity of rest. Why is it so important to be busy? When really it's so important to be. And busy doesn't allow you to be. So taking the time to be, to rest. And rest is a gift that no one else can give to you. So someone might make, if you have a family, someone might make some time, offer some time. You might have family that are able to look after the kids, whether it's your partner, but you actually have to take that time. I know so many women, so many mamas out there that, even when they're given the time, will fill that time with doing a million things rather than just, taking the time to recharge, so that when the kids come back, you've just got so much more to offer, rather than have just expelled a whole lot more energy while they're gone, and then they come back and you're even more depleted. So allow yourself time to rest. Find what is nurturing for you. So this is really individual as well. I love that picture. That was a holiday in the Daintree rainforest, something that I've been wanting to do forever, and my partner and I did that earlier this year. And so, being in nature, that is one of the biggest nurturers for me. Just sitting in nature, it's just so important. Music, so you might have particular music that really nurtures and nourishes you. I know I've got different music, so, if I need to be more energized, then I've got music that really helps with that. But then I've got music that really is nourishing. It's like my soul, spirit music, that really helps create a space where I can give back to me. Having a bath, a beautiful nourishing bath with Epsom salts or aromatherapy oils, just that time and just being still, just relaxing in that bath. Having a beautiful massage, that can be such a beautiful gift that lots of us don't do very often, but when we do, it's like, I should have done this so long ago. For some, cooking nourishing food. You might uncover that the self-care you really need to focus on is physical self-care and giving yourself really nourishing food and taking the time, making the time and space to actually make that and give that to yourself. And for some people as well, reading, and reading particular books as well can be something that really nurtures your body, mind and soul. So really, really taking that time. I know for me today, with everything that was happening this morning. And I got home and was really quite frazzled, like, oh gosh, I don't have a lot of time before the webinar starts, and I've got things to get prepared, and the technology to set up. And yeah, I got home and I was just like, whoa, hold on a second. It's been pretty intense this morning. So I just took my shoes off, put my feet on the ground, stood in the sun, took some deep breaths, really grounded myself and just connected to nature, because that nurtures me, brings me back into myself, and yeah, is giving to me. You can see on my YouTube channel there is a video there about earthing. So getting your feet on the ground, it's such an important and powerful and simple and free exercise for you to do. Simple things like burning incense or essential oils or smudging a space, that can be something that's really nurturing and really helps create the space for you to, create sacred space for you to be nurtured and nourished. So find what it is that nurtures and nourishes you. Ooh, learn to say no. Oh, that's a challenging one. So many people. I know, the number of conversations that I have with people, especially women, around taking the time to honor themselves and say no. No, I can't do that. Just really honoring your own needs and putting yourself first, because no one else will. This week I actually had a really big experience of learning to say no. So I now, in my other work with an organisation, I only work 2 days a week there. And that's been a relatively new thing. And since that time, I've been challenged to work more days, asked to work more most of the time, and have been doing it. This week, I was asked again, and I said no. And I celebrated it. I was so proud of myself for saying no, and it felt great. It was such a relief after I said no. The worst bit was the build-up. The worst bit was the, oh my goodness, can I say no? The feeling guilty. Oh, I should. I'm hearing those shoulds again. I should do it, and I want to help, and I don't want to make things harder for other people. And then it was like, actually, no, there's been an agreement made here that I work 2 days. I really need these other days to create things, gifts like this for my community, and creating other beautiful gifts that I'm going to be offering in future as well, and take time to care for myself, as this is a really important time for me. And I just no, I'm not going to do it. So I got in my car at the end of the day and just like, I said no. Called my partner, I said no. And it was like exercising the no muscle. Again, saying it with respect, understanding that what they're asking me to do, for them, it's really important, and needing to honor what's really important for me. If the other person's not okay with you saying no, that's actually their problem. If you're saying it with respect and love, when you do say no, it's going to be their issue if they get upset about it. I love the Brene Brown, her mantra, choose discomfort over resentment. She repeats that to herself, choose discomfort over resentment, choose discomfort over resentment. So yeah, it might be uncomfortable to say, I really, at this point, I can't do that. That's just going to take me beyond my capacity, rather than saying yes and then later being like, oh, stupid people that have made me do things that I just can't do. And when they're really, if you weren't able to see it, there was still the space to be able to say no. So yeah, exercise that no muscle. Learn to say no and just honor yourself. Trust yourself that it's okay. It's okay to listen to yourself and say no. Give yourself permission. So you know more than anyone else what you need. So trust yourself, beautiful. If you can give yourself permission and truly hold this space, so yeah, being able to say, yeah, this is what I'm going to do to honor myself, to nurture myself, and be able to hold that. So you can make the decision to start with, but then when people start questioning you on that or making their own judgments, you can kind of sway and maybe change your mind. But if you can really hold it, stand in your truth, honor your truth, again, it won't matter what other people say or think, because that's going to be their issue to deal with. And it's, being able to let that wash over you. I know that I'm doing this to honor myself. I know this is important because, like the next point says, you're of little help to others unless you're caring for yourself. So really standing in your truth of, I need this and I'm going to be doing this. And yeah, give yourself the permission to do it. Again, nobody else can, nobody else will, and nobody else knows what you need more than you do. So honor yourself. So self-care, what can this mean for you? Self-care, living a life from a place of self-care, is really creating a life of authenticity. How? What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, when you're honoring what you truly need, when you're honoring what your body, mind, soul needs, then you're living in line with that. You're living with authenticity, rather than saying, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. When somewhere in the back of your mind, you just think, I am utterly exhausted. Oh, I've just said yes to that when I've already said yes to something else. I mean, are you someone as well that overcommits, double books? When you're living a life through the lens, through the living of self-care and authenticity, then there won't be the double booking because you're really honoring what you need. It really is, when you're living from the perspective of self-care, it's standing in your power. Standing in there and being able to say, I understand that that's really important to you, and at this point, I really need to do this to care for myself. And again, all of these, saying no, giving yourself permission, all with love and respect for those other beings. Self-care, it can mean space. In a world that's so busy, there's so much stuff, there's so many things going on. giving self-care is having this space. There's room to move. And it makes space for what's truly important rather than just space being filled. Living life at your pace. So rather than living life at the pace of your workplace, your partner, your family, self-care is really about living life at your pace and learning what your pace is and honouring that pace. Self-care is about a deeper connection to yourself. So living that life of authenticity, standing in your power and living life at your own pace, you really need to connect in with yourself and know what you're looking for and what you need. So yeah, it's just delicious having that deeper connection, and being able to understand and learn your own language. Learn what you are trying to teach yourself. And it gives others permission. So you can actually inspire others to create self-care in their own lives. So honestly, some people will struggle to start with. When you start saying no, when they're used to you saying yes, they may struggle with that. And again, it's about holding and standing in your power and trusting your truth. And then honouring, respecting what their experience of things are. But over time, many people will actually learn and be inspired by your commitment to caring for yourself. And if they're not, then they'll possibly just drift away. And that will be the natural progression and need for both of you on your journey. So just going to take a moment now to check to see if there's any questions that anybody has that they want to ask at this point in time. Ooh, technology. Okay. So a question. So what do I find the biggest challenge in really committing to self-care? So the biggest challenge. Expectations. Yeah, I think that's probably the big one. And those expectations being my expectations on myself. So for today, so on Wednesday, I made myself a list of things I needed to do yesterday on Wednesday, and a list of things I needed to do on Thursday, and a list of things I needed to do today. Like I've mentioned, I've had a bit of a challenge. Some unexpected health stuff has come up in the last 24 hours. And it's really thrown a spanner in the works. And there's been this, but I've got this list of things I need to do today, But I honestly barely slept last night and have had a really challenging morning. And I know that after this, I need to honor where my body is at, where my mind is at, and actually take the time to rest and recover and, yeah, really nourish and care for myself. So yeah, I had the expectations that I'll do all of these things on Friday, and yeah, being able to just let that go, and I'll get those things done. You know, this was a priority. Doing this webinar was a priority, and doing what I needed to do this morning was a priority, and then caring for myself after this is going to be a priority. Expectations of other people as well. Yeah, that can be a really massive one. Yeah, being challenged by what other people expect. But I guess that's also been a learning curve of, okay, this is their expectation. This comes from their life, the way that they're going to live, and I'm not going to be driven by other people's expectations on me, and really really setting clear boundaries. And sometimes I need to reset those boundaries regularly and remind people of those boundaries. And again, sometimes they're challenged by that and may see it through their own lens of something else. And I just need to keep coming back to myself and saying, I spoke my truth. I honored what is real for me. And that's all I can do. And yeah, it feels good. And, you know, reminding myself as well that self-care isn't really the norm. Glorification of busy is the norm. And if I'm going to step outside of that, then yeah, that can challenge. It can be a challenge for me, and it can be a challenge for other people. Yeah. And another question. So, how the best way of getting clear on where self-care is lacking in your life? Because it can be difficult, especially at the start of a self-care journey, of learning about self-care and honoring that. Really getting clear on, yeah, I guess what the priority is as far as your self-care goes. So I'm actually going to give you a tool. I'll be sending out a free resource that hopefully will be helpful for you in starting to uncover that, because there's so many different aspects of our lives. Like I talked about, self-care is a holistic thing. So we're looking at body, mind, emotional, spiritual self-care, and really being able to look at each area and, am I really nourishing my body? Like, what am I doing to nourish my body? Am I moving my body? Am I filling it full of nourishing food? Yeah, as far as my mind goes, am I nourishing my mind? Am I watching brain-numbing TV too much? Or am I reading things that really nourish my soul? You know, being part of webinars that really nourish my mind and soul. That spiritual nourishment as well. You know, finding the things that nourish that, whether it's maybe a practice of yoga, whether it is meditation, using oracle cards, whatever it might be for you. But thinking about those, I think sometimes we have these experiences of something and get really inspired and excited by it. and maybe do it a couple of times, and then it drops away. And so it's kind of remembering those things possibly that you've had the experience of, that you're like, that felt so good. I felt so energized, so nourished after that. And looking at where you might be able to bring some of that in. And it's not, you don't have to do everything all at once, just little bits. Again, what's the priority? I really haven't been focusing on nourishing my body enough. So I'm going to focus on that for now and put more energy into making sure that I'm doing regular, giving my body regular movement. Yeah. So I think that's ways of getting clear. It's constantly checking in and questioning and asking yourself. And like I said before, learning your own language, learning your body's language. Yeah, creating that deeper connection to yourself. So now I just want to, I guess offer you, offer you an opportunity. I guess this is another way that you can get clear on where it is, what you need to be doing to honour your self-care. So I'm offering you a complimentary connection session, obligation-free. So if you decide that you want to go ahead with this, we can just have that chat. And to really explore what's important to you, to have someone hold space for you and for that to be me would be an absolute honour, but it is absolutely obligation free. So you can check out the Inner World Village website, and there is a connection session link there that you can go in and fill in and just register right after the webinar for your connection session. So I invite you to go there, but I'll also, after this, be sending out an email that'll have a link to that, or you can send me a message on Facebook. And we can just make a time that's going to suit and, connect. So another offering is I'm actually running a 4-week journey, 4-month journey. So it's called Soul Speak. So in this, I hold space for you. So it's 10 sessions over 4 months to really connect in with yourself, to really connect in with your family and community and to nature. Because for me, that's holistic living. That's nourishing and grounding. So it's really, Soul Speak I offer as an opportunity to find your place to stand with power and integrity in this life, which is just such you're just taking a moment to close your eyes and imagine standing in your life, living your life in a power and integrity, knowing your place to stand in this life. It's just, it feels good. So again, if this might be something that interests you, we can start with the complimentary connection session, see if we connect, see if maybe I can walk with you for part of your journey. Because the 4-month journey really gives an opportunity to really ground, to get clear on the changes and then really ground them into your life. So a special offer off the back of the webinar is for the next 48 hours. I'll actually include 1 bonus session, so that will be 11 sessions over the 4 months, and the price is going to be massively reduced just for the next 48 hours from $1,450 to $1,250. So that's $200 off. So if you thinking this might be something of interest, again, you can get on the Inner World Village website and connect for the complimentary connection session. And then after that, if you've booked in that complimentary connection session within 48 hours of the webinar ending, and you decide you want to walk with me on this Soul Speak journey, then we will go from there and you'll get the amazing discount. So I'll send out emails with links so you can follow those, or you can get on Facebook and message me and we can go from there. So this is the resource I was talking about. So it's an exceptional self-care resource. So it's an opportunity to take a holistic viewpoint of your life and start to think about what you can do physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually towards moving and improving your self-care. So that's just one page of the document. So I'll be sending that out to you, and it gives you some guidance as well as far as prioritizing, and really getting clear on how you can create and embed self-care in your life. So I'm just going to, again, just a quick check in. Hello, hello. Yeah. So, remember that there is the offer for the next 48 hours if you get on there. And register for a complimentary connection session. And then decide to join me for the Soul Speak journey, $200 off. But if you have any questions, again, Inner World Village Facebook account, just to ask and follow up. So it has been an absolute pleasure to share with you. I really hope that you've got something useful from our time together. Again, any questions, Facebook me. Keep engaged with this community, and I will hopefully get to connect with you again soon. So many blessings, much love. Bye.